All right, thank you everybody for being here today, November 13th. We're here to cut the ribbon today and just announce the completion of what became a pretty major project here in Lafreniere Park. And so I want to thank everybody for being here. We'll go into the program in a second and explain why we're here. So anybody can take your seats. Thank you all for being here. First off, I would like to ask Mr. Never mind, he walked off. Trip Rabelais, the director of Lafreniere Park, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank everybody for being here. Today represents the culmination of something I'm very proud of, because basically we're here today because of, I hate to overuse the term teamwork, but basically that's why we're here today. We were very successful in the District 4 office in putting a very successful team of people together to make this happen. Unfortunately, when I was elected when I was sworn in November 1st, 2017, we went on a mission to see how we could upgrade Lafreniere Park. How could we engage people more into the park, get a greater utilization out of Lafreniere Park by upgrading and performing renovations in this facility, in particular to upgrade the athletic components of the park on the soccer facility. Well, in the course of it, Brenda Campos and Mike Quigley in my office, we did some research and met with Myers Engineering to talk about what we needed to do to put a tournament quality, state-of-the-art soccer complex in Lafreniere Park, in what we call the Jewel of Jefferson Parish. Well, unfortunately, through that effort, what we discovered was a judgment in federal court of over $8 million against Jefferson Parish that was roughly 10 years, almost 10 years old, that found the park to be out of compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act in a number of different ways, to the tune of roughly $8 million worth of construction. So that is the problem that our office inherited due no fault of our own, and we inherited, and we're left with trying to find a solution, not the least of which was, where can you find $8 million to do it? So we went on a mission right away alongside Myers Engineering and the parish attorney's office to try and figure out how we could get through this. One of the first calls we made was to now State Representative Debbie Villio, an attorney who has done a ton of work for Jefferson Parish and saved the parish millions and millions of dollars over the years. And we implored her assistance to see how we could work on this judgment, how we could go to federal court and get some relief on this judgment, help save the parish money. Thanks to those efforts between Myers Engineering and State Representative Villio, we were able to get that judgment knocked down from over $8 million to $1.5 million, saving the parish almost $7 million off that judgment. So that was a huge win. So I'm proud to say we helped put the team together, including her, in our office, and got that judgment knocked down significantly. Well, then we had to figure out how we're going to get it done. And so Myers Engineering came up with a plan, came up with what accommodations needed to be made to make sure that this park would meet the federal court judgment, and also make sure, most importantly, that this park was accessible to persons of all capabilities. And they put a plan together that made sure this park would be ADA compliant top to bottom. I'm proud to say today we're here to announce that we can say with good conscience that the park in fact is in ADA compliance. So what work did they recommend we get done, and did they put a plan together for? Parking spots, sidewalk ramps, some of which you see behind me, restroom buildings that were out of compliance are now in ADA compliance, light fixtures, flooring, baby changing stations, changes to the park office, and even to this foundation center beside us, where we have numerous events. Really, I say numerous, all year long we have events going on. And but what happened was we took an aggressive approach to make sure we're not just going to come up with small Band-Aids, we're going to come up with permanent fixes. Project went out to bid, and we had two issues. Number one, what were the bids going to come back at? is it going to be within budget? And two, where are we going to find the money? Joe Calderara and his company bid on the project, and they were the low bidder. I'm proud to say they did their work within the time that was requested and within the budget that was requested. The only challenges they had is as they got into it, some issues were identified that hadn't been identified before. And so the question for the park was, are we going to accept any issues that are not ADA compliant? And the answer was no. And I'm proud to say that Mr. Calderara and his company did the job on time and within the budget that they proposed, and the parish is definitely better for that. As part of that, in the meantime, we hired a new director of Lafreniere Park, Mr. Trip Rabelais. And thanks to his background in construction, his expertise, and most importantly, his relentless effort and work ethic and commitment to this park, issues were identified during the construction process where we were able to make changes at low cost, sometimes even saving money, that ended up being beneficial to the parish. So we're very lucky for the work that he provided along with Mr. Calderara's company. But then the big ticket item, how are you going to pay for it? You know, one of the things we learn in government is we've got tons of solutions to all kinds of problems. The only little problem is sometimes how do you find a way to pay for it? And thankfully, we had at the time the Director of Community Development, Ms. Tamithia Shaw, who is now serving in that capacity in the city of Kenner, who said, look, I think we can get some state community development grant money to do this. Well, not only was she right, but she was even more right than she anticipated. And through her work, along with Ms. Nicole Fontenot, who's the current Director of Community Development, and Ms. Christy Langoni, who worked in that office, they were able to help work with the state of Louisiana to get us $1 million worth of grant money to fund this project. So at the end of the day, what was an over $8 million liability for Jefferson Parish became a $500,000 liability for Jefferson Parish. That is an incredible, incredible windfall and benefit to Jefferson Parish. That's how government's supposed to work. That's diligence, that's teamwork, that's why we're here. And we certainly couldn't have done it without our partners at the state in the Office of Community Development, Sidney Pino and Christine Vidrine with the State Office of Community Development, what they did to get us the funding and make sure that we had the budgetary help we needed cannot be discounted at all. In addition, there's some other people I do want to make sure that I don't get out of here without thanking. Angie Trail and Adrian Duncan, who are the project consultants with Civics, the successor to formerly GCR, our dear friends and allies. Mario Bazile, the Director of Parks and Recreation. Leo Webb, the Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation. I failed to mention earlier, and that, shame on me for that, Leo's contribution to this cannot be overstated. Leo, I mean, you want to talk about somebody who, when there is a problem, yeah, I think if he went to medical school, he'd definitely be an ER surgeon, because he's only there when the big problems arise and he's the one that solves them. That's what he does all day. This project is no exception to that. Leo has been boots on the ground here. I mean, literally within minutes on here as if an emergency arose. And without his work and his dedication, I can promise you this would have never gotten done in the way it was. And then Myers Engineering, who definitely did an excellent job making sure we're compliant with the law and did all the design work and all the work. And frankly, while they did get paid for the project, I can tell you they did a lot more work than what they got paid for. That I can promise you, and I can attest to that. And we're very fortunate to have them continuing to keep our recreation facilities and parks and playgrounds in the state that they are. So with that, my comments are relatively concluded, but I'm very glad to say Lafreniere Park is ADA compliant. We are here to serve people of all capabilities and all abilities, and our park will continue to be the jewel of Jefferson Parish in serving those needs. With that, Parish President Lee Shang, let me comment. Not only Parish President Lee Shang, but she was then Councilwoman Lee Shang, and all of the council members, Councilwoman Van Vranken, Paul Johnston, Mark Spears, then Chris Roberts, and the remainder of the council. Every one of them were very supportive of everything. When we brought this to their attention, they were definitely, Ricky Template, excuse me, don't let me leave him out, because God knows he's made sure every amount of funding we need for Lafreniere Park has been secured without question. But when we brought this to them, they did not bat an eyelash. They did not hesitate and said, whatever needs to be done to get that park right, we're going to get done. They committed the funding. They did not question anything other than just putting their confidence in us and making sure we did our due diligence. They supported the team approach, and as a result of that, we're able to be here celebrating this today. With that, I'd like to ask Ms. Valerie Brolin, who representing Parish President Lee Sheng's office, if she has any comments.
Good morning, everyone. It is definitely an honor to be with you today. Today, I want to start by saying that District 4, Councilman Impastato and his office and their staff, their commitment to one of Jefferson Parish's most beautiful assets cannot be overstated. The vision, the innovation that they see for this park is going to be something very special, and it's going to be very much an asset to the residents of Jefferson Parish. So today we're celebrating $1.3 million going into this park to make sure that all residents of all capabilities can make use of it. On behalf of the administration, I'd like to thank his office, and I'd also like to thank our Lafreniere Park Director, Mr. Trip Rabelais, for his diligence and hard work as well. And last but not least, the park staff. This park staff accomplishes such a great deal to keep Lafreniere Park beautiful and well-maintained year-round. And their tireless efforts sometimes go unnoticed, but their results are truly appreciated. So thank you so much for having me this morning.
And yeah, lastly, before we cut the ribbon, Ms. Brolin, thank you for talking about the dollars. We budgeted $1.5 million for the project, even with change orders at the end of the day. The cost was $1.399 million. So under budget by over $100,000. That speaks volumes to the work that Myers Engineering and Calderara Construction Company did on this project. With that, I don't know if Mr. Calderara, anyone from Myers, if any of y'all have any comments or wish to say anything, please come forward. If not, we'll cut the ribbon. So, all right, please join me.
Stand by me. Stand by us. We're under budget, so you know there's a little bit left.
Okay, I'm going to take a few pictures. If y'all just look at the camera. Okay, I'm going to take a few pictures of just y'all looking at the camera. Okay, one. Okay, I'm going to count to 3 and y'all can touch. 1, 2, 3.